Uh, what other things could we cover in chocolate? Most things, I would.
Man, you're really putting me on the spot here. Most things, I think, is
Yeah.
the correct answer. Well, welcome back, everyone, to this week's podcast. Your premier. What is the word I'm trying to go with? Premier source for chocolate-covered things. I don't know. Anyway, well, this week's podcast will be brought to you by Garbage People and saving the world one plastic monstera at a time.
And this week's podcast is also brought to you by Debris and Chance.
I am your host, Madison.
I'm your other host, Jesse James. That might be the least on rails that we've started this so far.
It's never going to get better.
Hopefully not.
As long as I am one half of this thing, the intro's not going to increase in quality.
Hey, that's vital. That sets
comfort.
The mood. People need to know what's going to happen to them.
It's got to be rough right off the bat, or else they're not going to be prepared for anything else.
So. This is... God, now I can't remember my thing. Welcome to our leftist conversational mukbang. There we go. Got it. I'm going to start the mukbang off right, and I'm going to get into my favorite treat, and it's this Dayquil.
Nice. I already kind of started my treats. I have a handful of chocolate-covered espresso beans, once again, which I'm pairing with this red wine. So,
excellent. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, drinking pills with coffee is the only way to go. I'll have a multivitamin later when I want to have that taste going on.
Multivitamin taste is the worst taste.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I'm noticing that it looks like my eyes are sunken in my face, and it's not because I feel poorly. Usually that doesn't happen, but I think it's residual makeup or something. Do you have anything else for your snacks, or shall I continue with some of them?
I have actually a very exciting snack for today.
Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Okay. Well, here we go. Wait, I must unwrap it first. This is harder.
I'm trying to identify it through the wrapping, but I can't.
Where the hell is the end of this? Here we go. Okay. Here. Oh no. Okay, I kind of messed it up, but.
Oh. Wait, is that?
This is a Spam musubi. That is made with blue rice because the rice was cooked with a pea blossom or something. So it's blue.
One of the most exciting treats we've had on this so far.
I know, right?
Is it made thrilled. This morning, musubi?
I would say made at some point today. I purchased it this afternoon.
Excellent. So. Okay, everybody shut up.
Everyone shut up!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
It looks good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Musubi can't really be bad, so.
Yeah. The place that I can get them easily from here, at least, they're just expensive enough to where I'm not going to be doing that often. But I haven't had them in a few months, so it might be worth trying to do that again.
Yeah.
I have some snacks. Nothing too interesting. Nothing like a blue musubi. But I do have
a blue musubi?
Some little tiny danishes.
That is exciting.
I have a handful of drinks. I mean, I have coffee and water like always. I have a little orange.
Is the theme of your snacks little?
No, because I also have this carrot. I have what I would call the carrot.
I agree that is the carrot.
I have freeze-dried cinnamon apples, which just kind of sounded good.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And then I have the best boring snack there is, just regular ass Pocky. No frills, no gimmicks, all Pocky.
That's how you want your Pocky to be.
Jeremy. Yeah, I heard recently that there are people out there who chew the chocolate off their Pocky and then eat the stick, and it made me disgusted, but it did make me want Pocky of my own, so.
Who are these people? We must seek them out.
Internet people. Nobody we have to worry about. Thankfully. I also have this trip to Kombucha Town. Compliments of Bellingham, Washington.
Hey.
And it's a blueberry white tea. And then I have this local... Which local? I know
Ooh! I know that one.
Coconut porter from Black Raven.
That's good shit.
I have not tried it yet, and I'm going to very soon. But I figured I would get into that porter after I eat these Danishes with coffee, because that seems more appropriate.
Yeah.
Well, this week has been weird. I now temporarily live alone.
That makes for a slightly weird week, I'd say.
So it's spacious and quiet here, which would be fine if it were something that I chose to do more like actively. I've always been a huge fan of like going and being places, but for some reason when the place I'm in shifts, that always gets me for like a week. And then I don't know, did the work to get bus stuff set back up, since I'm technically in the safe zone for now. Now that I'm vaccinated and 2 weeks out. So I won't be relying on rides to get to work. So my life will be, I don't know, sort of more normal, but I'm sure this next week will be like
yeah,
a huge pain in the ass anyway.
Probably. It sounds like the whole bus system in Seattle has changed quite significantly since
it's fucked up. I no longer have a bus to go to Seattle or to work. So I can now bus to the highway and walk to work. Or I can go to Bellevue and it will take like 40 extra minutes than if I walk to work. So pretty cool. Pretty useful.
Nice.
It is nice.
Someone, I'm sure.
More on that next week when I actually have to do it for a while.
I will be curious to hear about the state of the buses.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how many people are even on them.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, usually like 5 or 6 times a week I walk a couple miles at night in the same direction. I basically walk the other half of trying to go to work. So like I think it won't be that bad, but the timing is going to be weird. So I'll have to figure that out. Also, carrying stuff to and from work will be weird.
Yeah, that sounds gonna be fun to figure that out.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I only live here until the start of July, so I'll figure it out and get used to it long enough to not worry about it anymore. And it'll probably get weirder after that, but we'll see. How about your week? Has it been weird enough?
My week was pretty normal for the most. Oh,
look who has a normal roommate and a place that they live. You probably have normal carrots too.
I had no carrots, unfortunately. No carrots to be had. I did. Most of this week was comprised of just work. And then I don't know.
I feel like
it's all going so fast and yet so slow.
Okay. Well, let's steer away from the existential dread for a second.
I didn't mean for that to go in that direction, but that's exactly what happened.
Jesus. Okay. Well, speaking of existential dread, I wasn't sure when I would bring this up because I think it's amusing, but it's also like, oh, the little extra carrot was weird.
Yeah. That was interesting to watch.
Hey, So, earlier this week, I think like Tuesday or something, when I put stuff up places, I often add hashtags that have nothing to do with it, but are like vaguely associated through like words or whatever. Hashtags.
Mm-hmm.
And I attached a hashtag that was wet and messy to a picture I took of a skyline with like very like full clouds in it and stuff.
Nice.
I was like, huh, what attaches to this hashtag?
What does?
Not very much. Very thin pickings. However, I saw that there were like three of the like 7 attached posts were from a website called messygirl.com. And, I saw that name and I was like, this is probably just some regular ass porn site. I think I know what's going on here. And then one of them had a link with a picture on it. I was like, oh, that's not normal. That's not a normal site of any kind.
Huh.
So I went there, obviously. I mean, come on.
Yeah, obviously.
Not only is it a website from the 90s, which was shocking, it was also... so obviously it has mature content. I'm not saying everybody should run to messygirl.com.
It's too late.
Why don't you go over to messygirl.com and tell me what you find there? Because it wasn't not what it sounds like, but it also wasn't exactly what I would assume.
Huh. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
I really like their byline of the original and still the best since 1970s. No, 1997.
1970s. They got that early internet.
They do. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So most of that is like, okay, yeah, I get it. I think there's a spot you can click where it says, hey, who are the actors? That's the page that I was like, yep, okay, now I get it. It's just one of those things that was like, I'm glad that I know that exists in a way, but also like, I feel like I always knew it existed. In my heart.
Wait, this has been updated like relatively recently.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's from the 90s, but it's still getting updated.
So
like, there's a dedicated group of people that are like, can we get topless women to get hit with pies? Hey, yeah, you can, I guess. I want to know what their benefits are, and if they need is there a messyguy.com? I bet it's worse. But if there is, I'll fucking get hit with pies. I don't care about that.
You want to star in the next version of the 40-year-old pie virgin?
Oh,
with the kitty loses her pie virginity in grand style.
They need new titlers. Maybe I can be their...
No, I think they got it.
I could do some of their ad copy.
It's very good. If anyone listening is into, like, pie-related... This seems to be mostly pie-related.
Yeah, to be clear, I don't think anybody has sex on that website. I don't think that's the kind of website.
No, it's just, like, naked ladies getting hit by pies. Mostly.
Yeah. Mostly.
Huh. Mostly. Well, yeah, I think you're right in that I'm glad I know that this exists. I'm glad I'm seeing it, but also I'm sure I already knew that it was out there.
Yeah, it's like getting confirmation that something you believed existed does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a little bit like Elon Musk in a Wario outfit in that way.
Oh no, I don't want to see that. No, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I still can't believe. Well, I can believe, but I'm upset that they put him on SNL and tried to launder him for like people to be like more okay with his garbage.
More likable.
Yeah.
What about this is not likable?
I saw a clip that somebody put up of that scene. I'm not going to fucking watch Saturday Night Live. I know people who hurt themselves by watching Saturday Night Live to like keep up with it. In that scene, Wario is like a witness or something to Luigi and Princess Peach having an affair. And it's not funny. Like, they're just like, hey, look at these Nintendo characters. And then there's a video they hold up that's a picture of a cartoon picture of Luigi, not the actor or anything. And then there's a pixelated penis that goes wah 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 and makes like the Mario noise. I was like, I guess that's the American standard of comedy now, huh?
God.
Also, Elon Musk did not try to do a Wario. He was just kind of there.
Somehow that's better. I don't think I would want that in existence.
Yeah.
Or in my head at all. Did they do any... Do you know if they did any Grimes jokes? That would have been more fun.
I'm not sure. Apparently this is only from information that I saw circulating. Apparently there were multiple fucking your cousin jokes. I don't know exactly why. Huh. But I feel like Grimes might have been the musical guest or something anyway.
Oh. Well. Cool.
It's just a billionaire family takeover of Saturday Night Live, like you'd expect and enjoy on...
They're NBC. Just like you and me.
My Wario costume is better, but yes.
God. Well, that's fun. Good to know Saturday Night Live is doing exactly what I thought they were doing.
Yeah, doing bad television. Once a week, every week.
Yay. Yay.
What's your level of information on that? What's it called? That, I need to find the name. The name made it somehow more threatening, I feel like. Long March 5B.
My level of information on that would be 0.
Okay. So, Long March 5B is a Chinese rocket that around, I want to say Thursday night, they started saying like, hey, there's a small chance you might get hit by this rocket. Don't freak out or anything, but this rocket is going to fall somewhere, and we don't know where, and it should be within the next day or so.
Cool. That's fun.
And it's even less, like, let's say, giving me trust in people who do that kind of work, of, keeping an eye on things that are going to fall on us. Because this morning I saw a story that was like, we're pretty sure it landed in the Indian Ocean. We think it landed in the Indian Ocean, so I mean, I wouldn't keep worrying about it. Also, like, I mean, you probably weren't going to get hit by it anyway, but there's not a 0% chance. We just want everybody to know that.
And so they don't know for sure that it landed in the Indian Ocean? They're just like, we think?
I guess not. I don't know. I guess not.
Cool.
But that's also, I think that and the apartment emptying out and everything and feeling kind of ill all coincided. I've had like a very surreal like 2 to 3 days. Also, I watched fucking Battleship, and I saw that movie like when it came out, and I remember back, it's like 2012 or some shit, back then being like, this movie's terrible. Why are we watching this? Uh-huh. And I watched it again, and that movie is worse than I remember. Don't watch Battleship.
I think I might have to watch Battleship.
The bad guys are aliens. There's no motivation. They have spiky puby beards. All of them do, that just come out of the end of their face.
And you're saying this as if it's not a selling point?
And they fling little Battleship the game pegs at American battleships, and then Rihanna and Taylor Kitsch go, "Look out!" And it blows up.
Wow. Okay, that was a pretty vivid description. I think I'm satisfied with not watching it then. The aliens throw pegs, like actual, like
they're probably this big, but they just like fling them out of their spaceships, and then they hit the ships, and they go weep, and then blow up.
Okay.
Like if the board game was real.
Oh, cool.
Uh-huh. They defeat them with a lattice of buoys so that they can kind of see on the radar where they might be. It's literally just like the worst board game adaptation into movie. Other than Clue, it might be the only one, but...
I have not seen that one. I don't have a reference for that, but I can't imagine it would be great.
Clue is old and also a like murder mystery comedy, so it's fine. It also stars Tim Curry, so it's made better because it has that dude like creeping around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's at least an actual selling point instead of puby beards.
It also had, I mean, I guess it also had I want to say 3 or 4 endings, and they would give you a random one at the theater. I remember reading that.
Oh, that's kind of cool, actually.
Mm-hmm. Old movies tried some weird shit.
That's pretty fun. I mean, specifically for the idea of Clue, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's creative. I like it.
Anyway, thankfully, neither of us have been hit by a rocket yet. Stay tuned, because they should know, I would hope, by next weekend.
That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, I guess we'll just hang out with a non-0% chance of getting hit.
It's okay, though. It's only, I think they said 5 stories tall. It's like a very long, impressively long rocket. So it's not like it's a huge problem if it just slams into somebody.
No, that sounds fine.
Mm-hmm. Wait. Here's how this article starts from the New York Times. No, you are almost certainly not going to be hit by a 10-story, 23-ton piece of rocket hurtling back to Earth. But that said, the chances are not zero.
Thanks, New York Times.
Cool. Why the space program let this happen remains unclear.
Huh.
Here's, because it's the New York Times, I can only read part of the article. More such uncontrolled rocket reentries in the years to come are possible. That's the last line that I have. It's just a very, like, thank you. Thank you, the New York Times. That's very good information.
Like a thinly veiled threat of, this won't be the last time.
Get ready. They're coming.
Huh. Interesting. I did not hear anything about that. But I have also stayed off Twitter for the most part, so I have not been really clued in to a whole lot of news.
I don't think there's any reason anybody needs to be on Twitter. So that's probably just fine.
I'd say so.
I think it was this week. There was some. I'm sure I took a screenshot of something terrible. Right, because there was. My main interest in Twitter is the things that are the worst of what people are doing on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And once I see that, that's really more my Saturday Night Live, is seeing what people on Twitter think is a good idea to do. Nope, that's just welcome to my Twitter screenshots. Fuck, where is this fucking thing? I'm actually pretty pleased that I can't remember what the whole thing was called, but there was one of those, like, fairly, oh god, yeah, that's what it was called. All right, so a thing happened. It looks like Wednesday morning. Called hashtag ANITWTMATINGSEASON, which translates to Anime Twitter Mating Season, in which all of the most horrendous anime Twitterers were basically using Twitter as, like, a dating app. And putting things up on the hashtag to, like... Well, it was two things. The Saturday Night Live part of it was... That was happening, for sure. But the other side of it was that there were people just kind of viewing it and seeing what was up. So you did have things like this happening. With what appears to be a little dating profile on the top. So you did have things like that. That's why I was there. But I think the only thing I saw in there that I was like, yeah, I do like this, was one person who was, like, an anime artist was like, none of you will ever have sex. I was like, that's a pretty good tweet. But that's what Twitter's for. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a horrifying Wednesday thing. Especially because that was the day that I came back from work to an empty house, and somehow that also fell on the day of Anime Twitter Mating Season, which I hope never happens again, and I also hope always happens again.
I'm surprised it's not just celebrated as an everyday thing.
I mean, let's be real. It is.
Yeah, a little bit, at least.
For people who are non-Twitter or oldsters who don't want to be in proximity of the Twitter,
which is a fine decision.
Oh yeah, No, I've had a Twitter for a long time, and I have used it on and off, but it's, in a lot of ways, it is what OG Facebook seems like that was. Just like a very weird, like, let's throw all of our trash opinions into the void and see how many people like this specific trash opinion.
Yeah.
But that's also why I go there. That worked out fine. Do you have a topic? I feel like
I liked it.
I'm very into this food right now.
I do have a topic. One of the things that I did do this week was yesterday. I went to a hot springs out here.
They have a hot springs in Boise?
It is located like 2 hours away in some direction. I don't know, but it's next to a small town called Lowman.
Okay.
And a friend and I went to I think they're called a Kirkham Hot Springs, and it was very pleasant.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah.
That name. I think I didn't know it was in Boise, or near Boise, rather.
Yeah, actually, I guess Boise has a lot of, there's a lot of hot springs that are kind of in the proximity. I know there's a few out by McCall. I think Idaho has a fair amount.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have never been to a hot spring. That is a good thing to know.
Yes. When you do end up visiting, we'll have to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a really fun little day trip. The hot springs were so my discussion of this will be like two-sided, I guess. The hot springs were nice. It was like as you might imagine, like an outdoor spa. It was great.
Was it like regulated? Did they have like fencing and like people in some fashion?
A little bit. Like people had kind of constructed. So it was right next to a river. I don't know which river, but a river.
Some kind of Idaho river.
Some kind. It's either, I want to say St. Joe, but I don't think that's right. Anyway, a river. And the spring water comes out of like the side of the canyon that the river is in, basically. Okay. So up on like one side of the river, they've built like where the water comes out, they've built like little kind of hot tub looking things. They're not actually, it's not like an actual like cement hot tub. It's just like people have built like rocks in a formation to like keep, like to dam up the water.
Just like little basins to have it available.
Yeah. And it's next to a bunch of little like camping spots. Very convenient and nice. And then there's another like lower part where if you walk closer to the river, the water flows like directly from the kind of steep bank of the river into the river, and then people have created some more little pools in there, like by building up little rock pools. So it's not like other hot spring. There is a hot springs in McCall that is like a cement pool basically, and they just pump in the water. But this is very like kind of natural looking. It's more nature-y, but yeah, it was really nice. And I mean, the experience was good. The thing that sucked was people, and this was like a whole thing during COVID. Well, now still, like the whole thing of people going to national parks and just completely trashing the area.
Yeah, that's pretty standard, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know it's been like worse over the last year, but
it's never been good.
It's never been good. People have never been good. People are garbage people.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I ended up having to change in one of the bathrooms out there, and I can only describe it as a nightmare scenario.
Okay.
Really, really nasty, gross people. Stop everything you're doing in national parks, because I went into this bathroom and basically everyone had just turned it into a big dumpster room, and yeah, unsafe levels of
Yeah.
nastiness. I held my breath and tried not to touch anything.
That's my usual like park, well, not park necessarily, but like preserve bathroom, like places that are a little further out. Uh I I've seen some bad ones, but the way you're talking about that, I'm guessing that there was a minimal floor that you could touch one of those
Yeah,
kinds of bathrooms. Okay.
yeah.
God. Yeah, I
Like
hate that
this
shit.
mushroom floor.
Trying
People had
to
just brought in like garbage bags. Like there is White Claw cans, there is mouse crap on the floor. Like obviously stuff had gotten in there. Um, really disgusting. So
I
that
have
sucked.
distinct memories of having to use, I think it was a countertop to balance one side on so that I could pull shorts on with the other hand because I didn't have enough space to actually like move around in the rest of the room.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, so I was smaller at that point, but they get bad.
Yes. I've been camping a lot and I've been to a lot of national parks, so I've seen a lot of these bathrooms and like you're right, they've never been good. Um, but holy shit, I really was not expecting it to be that terrible. So it was
Well,
nice, but it was also kind of disappointing to see that.
was
But
the view from the actual like hot spring good at least? Like was there a minimum of outdoor trash and stuff?
oh yeah, like the
Okay.
outside was really well taken care of. There was really almost no trash anywhere. It was just
Cool.
like for some reason all had been uh people just decided that that was the spot that they were going to destroy. So,
All right.
I mean, at least it was contained, I guess. It's something.
Uh
But
what temperature hot spring? Uh is it like a, I guess, is it the
mm,
kind of thing that you have to ease into, or is it the kind of thing that's like warmer than you would expect but not hot? Or I don't have a lot of experience with that kind of stuff.
I would say like I got into it pretty quickly without having to like ease into it. It wasn't
Okay.
like so hot that you couldn't like get in without with like minimal discomfort.
Okay. My only real experience with hot water is hot tubs that like relatives have had. So
Yeah.
those are usually like, I don't, what they're like 180 degrees or something, where you're like putting in like an arm and pulling it out and it's kind of red and you have to kind of like see if
Mm.
it's going to be a lot to deal with or not. So,
Yeah, that's kind of the fun thing about the hot springs is that since it is natural, you can go to different pools and they're all like just based on proximity to the where it's coming out of the mountain, like
mhm.
different temperatures, and then some of them are joining with the river, so some of them are like cold. And we actually a few times jumped into the river and then jumped back in the hot tub to recreate my that kind of like Google.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't even remember what it was called, like breathing with
Uh,
cold
fuck.
water.
Yeah, yeah. The weird old beard man teaches them
Yes.
how to. Uh, I've done a little bit of that stuff. I like it, but it's definitely, when I think of doing that at a hot spring, I think of it being like a hot tub with a pool, where
Mm.
you, the hot tub starts to feel like you're just sort of like in lazy water. So if you freeze yourself out and then jump back in, it reinvigorates the whole thing.
Yeah. It definitely. I have never been the type of person that does that because I just sit in the hot tub the whole time, and I am perfectly fine to do that. But I was just like,
that seems like your style. So
yeah, it is typically my style. But I was like, fuck it. So I jumped in, and it was actually like I definitely did get that sort of like adrenaline feeling. Your body does kind of wake up quite a lot. It was really cool, but I would not do it multiple times.
I definitely do that with very cold, very fast showers occasionally. Not like getting clean showers, but like I'm going to need to work on something, so here's how I do it. That kind of experience.
That kind of shower, yeah.
It probably says something about my life that I have like a handful of things that shock me into being productive. That's probably not the best. But hey,
Hey, whatever gets you there,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I will say your piercing is making me jealous of having piercings.
This is one of my fake ones.
Oh, okay.
From when I was trying to figure out which side to do it on and placement. So, and then I just decided to stick with the fake ones and not worry about it.
I thought you would maybe, because I remember when you were trying that out a while ago, I was hoping you had finally pulled the trigger on it, but
I'm thinking about it.
It's kind of fun. It is definitely like, I don't know. If my suggestion, and this is what I did, but it's also not my choices were suspect. I've had some experiences lately of realizing that my gothness has not completely disappeared, and I had the most goth version of piercings, and so like I don't know if I would go back to that exact thing, but I definitely did. What I was going to say is I found something that was what I wanted, and then I based getting the piercing off of that. And I know I have a friend who did that, where they found it's like a jeweled what's the center nose ring?
Septum.
Yeah, a jeweled septum ring that was cool, and that's why they ended up getting it. And I feel like that actually does really increase the excitement of having it, when it's not just getting a stud, but it's getting something that's specifically dope when you get it.
Yeah.
But, everybody does it differently.
Yeah.
I also know people who like pseudo punish themselves by getting like tattoos and piercings.
Yeah.
And there's worse things to do, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's interesting though. I've never heard of that kind of approach to piercings. But I guess if you're actually like really into like body jewelry and that stuff, then yeah, that would probably be one of the first concerns you would have.
To be fair, a lot of the people I know are art weirdos, so that might be part of it too.
Well, it's still an interesting way of thinking of it. I mostly like the idea of just creating like balance on my face, and I feel like a nose ring would balance the placement of my freckles for some reason. So I don't know, but it is nice to be able to just like not have it. And it looks convincing enough, but I really do want to just commit sometime.
I mean, you can still commit in a way that you don't always wear it. It doesn't cost so much that having it close up matters. But
yeah, that's true.
That, in a similar vein, that is why I like and will probably stick with some form of my trash can hairstyle for a while, because the ability to do different shit with it constantly is really nice. The only thing I don't like is it's a choice. I guess I could use it, but I don't like that it's there without effort, is that I can have the worst, most powerful mullet if I do the wrong thing with it. because I currently could have I could grease it into a mullet that would go back to like the top of like between my shoulders currently, and that's power that I don't know that I need to have. I don't like
it's the exciting
look that you're giving me.
It's very exciting, and I really wish you would wield that power.
Whenever I get out of the shower, it's like I gotta fix it. There was a period of time where I was letting it dry out and just like doing whatever it's gonna do. But now I actually put it up to dry it as well, because like I gotta live my life, you know? I can't have this horrible mullet and try to do other shit.
You say this as if the mullet is like detracting from these things you're trying to do. It could be an addition. It could make everything better.
I have looked and not taken pictures of it, and I do have some camo that I can wear. I was looking at like the degrees to which it could be like a statement, and unfortunately, the degrees are extreme. I got that big knife. I got some camo. I've got some pants choices I could wear with it.
All right. Well, yeah. You don't have to go full like Duck Dynasty on it. You could just. This
feels like backpedaling now.
No, I think there's a. I think the people.
There's a hillbilly sweet spot. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, people have recently breathed new life into the mullet. The mullet is not as it once was. You know, it's different now.
Yeah, the mullet. It's different now.
Are you sold yet? Does this seem like a good idea yet?
The problem is, so the number of styles in which I am okay with photos. That reminds me. Is limited. I don't even like most photos that are in styles and hairstyles that I like. But I feel like as we're sort of getting to a point where we might be able to see people in person, that could potentially be mullet experiences for people. Like I know that there is a like end of June, like right before right now it looks like I might be staying in a temporary space while I figure out housing in July as well. But actually, I should go over that because that could be terrifying. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. Anyway, there is an idea that as long as one of the groups of friends that I have gets vaccinated up to the point where they can come and like we can all be unmasked in one house for like a thing, that we're all going to get together and watch Cats. Because before the pandemic hit, we were all like, we're going to watch Cats as a group. And then the pandemic was like right as that was like getting set up. So like to really like get that stuff moving again, most of the people in that group have still not seen Cats.
Oh, so. No, why?
Well, so I'm remembering as I'm like trying to plan things for seeing people in person again that I'm kind of an asshole. And like the idea of having a bunch of suffering people in the apartment is very appealing to me because it's just been me and Nick, and the suffering has been pretty minimal. Like it's been a lot of like mutual like working towards things and like, you know, being sociable and trying to keep things together for each other. But like having other people here and just really ruining their whole day. God, that sounds good.
That sounds like a fantastic way to re-enter some version of normality.
Yeah.
To a degree. That sounds like a good way to start things up.
Uh-huh. Anyway, so to finish what I was saying, I don't know what's in that coffee. Something fell in there. Huh. Oh, well, it came out. Let's just pretend like that never happened. Right now, because I'm still in like a deciding phase on where, how, and what kind of housing I'm going to end up with. And the housing market in this area is so fucked. Like it's right now I'm basically in a like 7-week like, hey, who got rooms mode. Like who wants some free art in their house, like that kind of space. And the friend that I have that has a house that has extra space, that is getting stuff like actively built and literally wants like people to do art and stuff like that, and all of those things that kind of work together with what I'm especially in a temporary space looking for. They have done a lot of very dangerous things in their home, and I've spent a lot of time with this person in the past before they were married, and there's a lot of dangerous things that have happened in the past as well. And I mean, the last time I talked to them, they were I think they remember it, but it's hard to say. I got FaceTimed at like 1 a.m, which is a thing that I have certain groups of people who do, and they were having a good time. And anyway, they have a decent sized place down in like the central district of Seattle, which is where I like went to school when I was in like grade school and stuff. I like that area a lot, but they have built their porch into a Korean barbecue during the pandemic. They have like the cooking sheet. I got photos of them just with like piles of meat around it, like doing that whole thing. I used to go to Korean barbecue with them when I saw them more often, and they would eat an amount of Korean barbecue that I was like having trouble finishing. And I don't eat super fast, but I usually can eat for a long time, and they were better at it. And that is one of the most terrifying things to have like upstairs while staying in a place, especially because it would be a temporary thing. So I would have like art supplies, a laptop, and some like personal effects and stuff. But like, there's nothing keeping me from going up and making some mistakes. And they also have a very complete looking bar, and man, like it sounds great.
This sounds like a good situation.
It sounds fantastic until you until you live in it for weeks. Because the amount of mistakes I can make with access, it's sort of terrifying.
Mm.
Anyway, so that's sort of what I'm looking at lately.
But at least, I mean, the potential to make mistakes isn't exciting.
Yeah, no, I love that potential. I'm not saying I wouldn't really like doing it. I'm just saying that I might come away from it a different person.
Just worse, maybe.
Yeah, just worse.
Oh no, the seaweed on my musubi has become one with my saran wrap.
Okay, well.
And it's not really musubiing anymore.
Sometimes you got to just pick up the saran wrap with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's so blue.
I honestly, I thought that it was a lighting trick when I first saw it, and I didn't want to say like, "Is that blue?" and sound like an asshole. But I'm glad it's blue because
it's blue.
I was very excited when I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's weird is what kind of meat is it?
It's Spam.
It is Spam? Okay, it just looks really like light Spam with hard grill marks. I'm not used to seeing it that.
I don't, yeah. I'm used to it being more like fried.
Yeah.
On the outside. This seems more like just lightly grilled with some serious grill marks. And
The color of it makes it look like almost actual pork and not Spam, which is a very different thing.
Mm-hmm. The texture, definitely Spam.
Okay.
But not what I'm used to in a Spam musubi.
Speaking of Spam musubi, but not at all, I was told by somebody that I have to eat a quesalupa. Do you know what a quesalupa is? What is that?
Yeah, and they're wrong.
Okay. I thought they might be wrong based on the image they sent me that looked like cheesy lettuce. What is a quesalupa?
Let me also look this up and make sure that I am not leading you astray, because if it's what I'm thinking of, it's a huge disappointment.
Okay. Thank you. I'm so glad that I have a taco scientist that I can check this stuff with.
You're welcome. This is my calling. Okay, yeah, quesalupa. So, what this is,
okay,
is you've got your chalupa, right? But what the quesalupa does is turn a chalupa into like a double. I'm having a hard time telling actually. I think what's going on here is that there is a crunchy taco inside of a chalupa shell with like cheese in between.
So they do the like, let's stick a soft thing to the crunchy thing with cheese?
Yeah. Okay. I think that is what I'm remembering.
But what's inside it though?
Just a crunchy taco, I think. Yeah. Oh, no. Here it is. It's here's an actual explanation. It is 2 of the chalupa tortillas like made into a quesadilla essentially. And then they use that to make a taco. It's not good because my gripe with the quesalupa, because I did have this a while ago and I remember being very sad about it, is that the reason why you order a chalupa is for like the nice crunchy texture of the like the outside, but it's like flaky or not really flaky, but it's like
you get like a little bit of a chewy thing on. Yeah.
Exactly. And the quesalupa destroys this because both of the chalupa shells, by the time they get like quesadilla, are just drenched in grease, and it's just floppy. It's very like soft and spongy and not what you want.
Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like my kind of thing. I
think you should try it at least once. I would be curious to know your thoughts, actually.
Okay, now this sounds like I'm watching Cats, but I'll accept that I should try the quesalupa.
Because maybe I had a bad one. Maybe it was an off day for the Taco Bell. I hope not.
I know that
they never do.
I know that they'll probably see this anyway. I don't mean to be bagging on your quesalupa choices, but if I try this and I don't like it, I'm gonna blast you. So be warned out there, quesalupa lover. If you don't like this, I'm going to blast you big time. So as long as you're okay with that.
Yeah. I think that is an acceptable consequence for
and
this.
Madison says you ain't shit.
That is verbatim what I said.
Yeah. This is the same person who made that portrait of me yesterday, so I don't want to piss him off too much because I do
creating bad blood over quesalupas. Oh no.
Yeah, that's right. Quesalupas ain't shit, and I'm gonna make you watch Cats. What do you think of it? Gotta do it to you.
We're about to receive our very first hate mail, probably.
No, we're not, because we already received hate mail in a story that I'm going to be reading on this episode.
Okay.
I have not read that story, but it is brought to us by the same people that brought us last week's story. And I'm going to send you a picture preview that I happen to have ready, based on what little I know about it. And you should have that on your phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you like that?
the curvature. No. No.
Hey, you want to show the people what you got over there?
Yeah, okay. Here's what I just had to view.
God, that's nasty. That is the worst.
What in the hell?
He has it looks like his entire beard is made of split ends that have turned into gray hair. Like all of his hair is turning into new different hair and fanning out. It's the grossest, most fucking terrible choice.
The fact that this is really pixelated, I think, is saving me from an even worse experience.
Oh God, I don't want to see a 4K Ted Cruz beard
no
ever.
Just the unacceptable.
God, what is that mouth? What is wrong with his fucking mouth?
So much.
Can you imagine his wife and what she has to go through? Look at that mouth. That mouth, pixelated as it is, just coming towards somebody with intent.
With intent?
Yeah.
No. No. Well, I am very glad. So that is the subject of the story that we're about to.
That is my understanding.
All right. Well, that does meet my qualifications for hate mail, essentially. So yes, I guess we have received hate mail.
Though we may be receiving something that is designed for you to read in the future, so that'll be the true hate mail. I'll have to. The spot where you left before we read last time, I had to try and practice my Joe Biden. And today I'll probably have to practice my Ted Cruz. But Ted Cruz is easier because he sounds terrible. And that's, even with a slightly weird throat today, I feel like that may just enhance the effect.
Yep, I think that'll help overall.
I guess on that note, happy Mother's Day out there. I know this will come out the day after Mother's Day, but, for all those moms out there.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. And I'm sorry.
To both of my moms, stay tuned. I feel like you're going to love what I'm going to read later.
Oh, God.
You thought messygirl.com was good.
It's about to get good. And by good, I mean help me.
Yep.
Aye.
That is correct. Well, now I'm going to read off a list of I had that picture up still. Now I'm going to read off a list of states that currently don't have mask mandates.
Huh. Wonder what state could be on there.
Oh, yeah. That one's on there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Here are the states that currently don't have mask mandates as of 4 days ago in the U.S. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Northern Mariana Islands. It's not a state. Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So, sorry if you live in any of those states.
Yep, thanks.
That isn't that much shorter than the list of states that do have mask mandates, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not great.
But you know, I got some clothes the other day because I can do that now that I'm able to be in public, and I got some more masks, and my face is too big because it's always too big.
Oh.
So I'm gonna have to get some of my small-faced friends to use them.
What kind of material are they made out of? Is like a stretching situation possible?
Yeah. I think they're just made out of like a polyester and something else.
Mm.
They're like a multi-layered thing. They're not designed to have inserts or anything. They're just very basic. But they're comfortable. I can tell it would be comfortable. I tried one of the 3 on because they came in packs of 3. But I made the mistake of getting a medium-sized thing because they only had 4 sizes and medium was the second to the top. So I was like, I wouldn't have the biggest face. But I was wrong.
Oh, well, I don't know if this will work for that type of material, but I've had some luck stretching things out in the past, just using like fabric softener and water and then stretching it a bit. But I don't know.
Do you guys need masks? Maybe they'd fit you guys.
Yeah, I have a pretty good supply at this point, but I would take them.
I have something real trashy that I was thinking of bringing it along, but I was like, I don't know. I might send it out there before, and it's these masks might come along with it.
Okay. That's not at all vaguely threatening.
It's not exciting, but it is stupid.
Okay. Well, I'm fine with that. That sounds good.
My hair is being invasive.
Oh.
I'm also, since I didn't get all of this makeup off, I'm worried that it's going to smear and that I will look extra weird, but that's fine. People have come here for
the look.
The fashion.
The fashion.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. The fashion and the makeup. All that fun stuff. I did learn that hot spring water is very good for curly hair because I had possibly the best hair day of my life the day after.
That's actually pretty exciting. That makes me want to get into a hot spring even more because my curly hair is a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, I would be very curious to see how that goes for you because I usually when my hair air dries after getting wet at all, it looks terrible and does this, but it dried like it was amazing. Like the bangs were like flat where I wanted them to be, and it just like curled. I was like, wow, so nice.
It's almost like being relaxed and doing things that are pleasant make everything better.
It is. Weird.
Almost.
Weird how that works, but yeah. I would highly recommend any curly-haired friends to do that if they can get a chance.
I will pass that along. I feel like I know more straight-haired people than curly-haired people, but
I guess I do too, but
I also know a fair amount of people who most of them aren't from the U.S., but I feel like in the United States, and this is purely speculative, this is not based on like real information. Circumstantial evidence has been provided that fancy or personal hair care that is meant to be fashionable is sort of a Eurocentric thing. A lot of the people I know that are not from European areas use like just mane and tail and nothing else, and do not do any styling whatsoever. And that's like a look. That's like the standard look is just like, no, this will keep hair straight and shiny, and that's it. And I remember being a little bit jealous of that because like taking care of your hair is sort of a pain in the ass sometimes. But I wonder what the effect of hot spring water would be on people like that. If it would give it any added body, or if it would be like unnoticeable, or what.
Yeah, that seemed to be what it did mostly for me, is give my hair some extra body and like structure for the curls to actually form.
Interesting.
And I'm assuming that is because of minerals and science.
I love minerals and science.
Me too. Especially when it makes my hair look good.
Yeah, definitely.
Incredibly pro minerals and science. Generally.
Yeah. You've gotten to the seaweed, so you're at the pivotal point of a musubi.
The halfway mark.
So about a month ago, some channel called Producer Michael did a video about some douchebag's $500 million mansion. There is so much weird story attached to this, but I sent you videos of that, or links to the Producer Michael shit. And you got through like half of the total, I think.
Yeah. And then saw bits and pieces of some commentary, like previously, that I had seen. So
I feel like this is happening a lot lately in COVID, so maybe it's just a difference in like how information is coming in and how important it is compared to like not doing a lot of things with people. But this, much like the Snyder Cut, much like a lot of those types of things, felt like it had some very important commentary in it. But more than anything, I feel like this might be unintentionally the 2020's Citizen Kane. So you didn't get to the end of the second video of 3. The third video is just a interview that they do. The third video interview is it pulls the story together, but it has some really notable things that I think are pretty repeatable. Like, it's just an interview, so like I don't have to explain a lot about it.
Yeah.
But I think the first thing that would be worth doing is just talking about like, so what you saw in essence was all of what you need to know. Did you see up to the theater?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As long as you've seen the theater, you've seen pretty much everything that has like necessity to this story before the end of the second video, which has them going to the workers area. Do you want to kind of explain like what you were seeing and feeling in this video? Just as like to be perfectly honest, I have seen the full video with other people. I've had a like 2-hour conversation with other people about the video. I've watched 2 separate watch-along commentaries of the video of the whole thing. One of them was like at least twice as long as the videos. Like I've put too much of this into my head at this point.
There's a lot to unpack.
There is a lot to unpack.
So much going on with this, but I guess to provide.
Just for setup, this house was built by a guy contracted by a guy named Niall Niami, I think.
Yeah.
So if you want to look up pictures or this video, that's who to look for.
I think it's really important that people look up his Instagram to get just a vibe.
Hell yeah, it is.
As the kids say.
This dude is the saddest man on earth, and you can really pick that up from this whole thing. Mm-hmm. I actually, on that note, I'll be sending you a video via your phone, but please continue.
So I guess to provide everyone with, I don't know, basic overview of the video. I don't know really who producer Mike is, but he's kind of...
He looks like skinny European Trump, and he seems like a complete douchebag.
Yeah.
That's all I really know.
Skinny European douchebag Trump, interviews / walks through horrendously gigantic and just god-awful, gaudy house that is in what, LA?
Yeah, it's in Bel Air. So yeah. I was out by Bel Air a few years back. Because I was going to the Getty and UCLA, which are both like pointed to in this video. The area, like where those are, does not feel like that, and he's very close to those. But he's just up the hill from the UCLA campus.
Okay, yeah, he's purchased some. I don't remember exactly how many acres it is. An acre? Is it? No, it's.
I think it's 5.
I think it sounds right. It's a lot of space.
Yeah.
He just purchased a bunch of space to build this really, really big house. That he has titled the house and like the overall project The One.
Uh-huh. He also titled it The One Bel Air. Yeah. Which makes it sound like it's the first.
Yeah, so one of many.
Nope.
The one of many. Yeah, the guy who designed this, or I guess it's like his brainchild. I don't know. He sounded like an architect or like a designer or something.
Yeah, it's hard to say. He does real estate, but I don't know. I feel like he was saying, I want this, this, and this, and people were having to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, because there's one point of the video where producer Mike is like, so this is pretty much all your idea, huh? And the guy goes, well, there's like hundreds of people who have put work into this, but essentially, yes, I did do all of it.
Uh-huh.
Which
he says so that good. About a lot of shit.
Yeah, like it's really a team effort, but I am the team, and the team is me and me.
The team did this.
Me. And yeah, he does come off as an incredibly sad boy.
Uh-huh.
Real sad boy.
An incredibly sad, like 53-year-old boy.
I don't like how much detail should we go into describing the actual house, because the actual house is interesting in the most atrocious way.
Oh, I'm definitely going to go into some examples and stuff.
Yeah, there's some very specific examples that I wanted to talk about. So, like,
the order doesn't really matter. I'll say that. So if there's stuff you want to talk about, you should. I want to see what stuck with you, I think, and then I'm going to talk about some more stuff.
Okay. The thing that stuck with me the most is, as I said, he calls this house the One, and he believes it is going to have some sort of world-altering, like, impact on the lives of those who come inside the house, or like
the way you said that actually works perftly with how that seems to work.
I didn't mean it like that, but it is exactly the way that I did not mean it. It's God, it's like weirdly sterile. I couldn't tell if it was actually furnished yet. It seemed like not, but also seemed like that's what they wanted it to be.
Yeah, it kind of seems like he wants it to be sparse.
Yeah.
And like a lot of like, so I already don't like giant houses. Like,
yeah.
I'm not even like as a personal choice, which it is also a personal choice, but like I feel uncomfortable being in a house that has a lot of hidden places. Unless it's like very, very straightforward in like the one house I was in that had a secret wall compartment. It made me uncomfortable if there were like other people there, but it wasn't like it didn't go anywhere suspicious. It was another entrance to a room that was already attached to everything else. This has the potential that you could like sneak in and live in this house and no one would ever know. Absolutely. There's no way that somebody could keep track of the whole house.
They made that joke multiple times that they could that he could live with someone or like be dating with someone, which was funny given the
that coming up on some of my favorite stuff.
That you could have someone with you inside the house and never even know it, or never come into contact with them.
Never see him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how he's going to be living in there anyway. Look at that video title that I sent you. So he got divorced from his wife that I think he has kids with the year that this video came out.
Okay. Oh, oops. That was.
And that video is of his app. And this is before. He's got. So I'll just set up. Mr. Niami has the most bodacious divorced dad energy. Nick described him as divorced dad Gollum, which is exactly right.
Yeah.
Like whenever he starts talking about family or like another character that we'll get into, he like starts like turning into a different person. Is very. If he weren't so irresponsibly like capitalist, maybe I would feel bad in a way that meant something, but I feel bad in a way that I just find it extremely funny in respect to this stuff.
It's hilarious. Yeah, bodacious dad energy is the only way to describe it.
I haven't had this much divorced dad. I haven't had this much pleasure in somebody else's misery in so long. It was like I almost felt bad at times, but then I didn't, because like he did every single bit of it to himself.
Yeah, he really brings it upon himself every time he explains anything. It gets worse. One of my favorite parts is when he is trying to explain an art piece that is out on the lawn that is just like
that is the turning point of the whole video.
Yes.
And that's preceded by producer Michael being like, "Oh, I can't walk on this grass." Remember? They go and there's a little field out to the statue and he's like, "But I can't walk on this."
He doesn't just say he can't walk on it. He goes, "I have never walked on grass before."
Yeah.
And the other guy is like, "Wow, a video of firsts." And then he walks across the grass, and they're all like, wow.
Did you also, I know there's a lot to take in this video. Did you see how everybody walked in general? Because the Niall walks like this. Like he walks like he's like learning how to walk. But producer Michael walks like he's like a homunculus brought to life by somebody's like magic spell. And when he walks on the grass, it's like, what is happening to this man?
Hey, he's experiencing grass for the first time. You got to give him a little room, little grace, you know.
So leading up to this, I want to describe the sculpture because it's stupid. It is two large, like construction metal looking pieces of steel, and then two slightly smaller ones. And coming from those like steel supports, like what you would attach to wood to like screw into. Instead, they're turned sideways, and in the attachment section, it just has what looks like glass, like large feathery looking bits that are like blue and like kind of varied in color. And it's supposed to look like angel wings, I think. Yeah. Like, I don't have any specific problem with the sculpture. I have a problem with him being like, hey, I forget where it is. He's like, hey, have you ever been to Madrid? This artist, he made the like city center sculpture. This is the only other sculpture. Like that kind of weird bullshit. Yeah. That's not how he talks. He talks. I mean, my impression requires me to reveal information that we're not quite to yet. But anyway, so they go out to this, and I think it's important to note he is hanging off this sculpture like a jungle gym the whole time he's talking.
Yeah. He's clinging to that thing.
Yeah.
For reasons.
It looks like he might break it.
Yeah. Which would be unfortunate considering it's very expensive.
It would be unfortunate and very funny. So, what was your thought about the conversation they have with the sculpture?
It was saddening.
Yeah.
But also very funny.
Yeah.
So, it turns out that the sculpture, and I think the house at large in general has a very tragic backstory to it.
Yeah.
God, how, like,
okay,
how do we start this intense?
I'll do my impression of him as he's hanging off of this sculpture, and I'll preface this by, so the video I sent you is from 2017, I believe, which is the year that he divorced his first wife, or his original wife prior to all this, who he has kids with. He made an app called Wolfpack that is designed. You're going to have to watch this app video. It's only a few minutes. It's a Nightline video. So if people type in Wolfpack Nightline, you'll find it. It's from 2017. And it is basically a divorced dad app to get together with other divorced dads to like watch sports.
Not just divorced dads. There's a very specific term that is used in this headline that I think is important.
What is the term?
Wolfpack app helps men find bro friends. Are you in need of bro friends?
Never been. So the thing that is the best about that Nightline piece on Wolfpack, the app, which I can't buy Wolfpack, that app, for my phone, unfortunately.
Damn.
I was looking to be like, oh man, I want to see what this is about, but no dice. It feels like they're advertising for like Old Man Grinder the whole time, which I find very funny. It also has Niall in it because you can see his face on the preview image prior to him doing what he's done for his style now, which is, I don't even know how to describe it. What would you call that? I mean, it is divorced dad Gollum in a lot of ways, but like, what's his like aesthetic, other than unapproachable.
Unapproachable, unapproachable, not someone you would want to approach. Also,
right.
Also definitely thinks he's some sort of movie star or like minor celebrity.
It looks like he's trying to hide from the paparazzi.
Yes, he does wear sunglasses that entire video.
He also, based on the interview they do at the end, has just done at least a rail of coke. That man's mouth tastes like ham, guaranteed the whole time. Anyway, so they go out to the statue. And the reveal of sort of the crux of this whole thing is during the statue. But he's hanging off the statue and he's like, hey, you know, this what's his voice like? The guy in Madrid did. I'm not going to do his voice. I just know the one part. The guy in Madrid, he also did this piece, you know, and actually there's like a big story about this, and you know, my wife, like he always like has trouble getting it out, and you learn at that point that you don't learn that he has kids until way later, but you learn at that point that he met, married, and is getting divorced to a woman that all happened during COVID, and that's it. And it seems like that, like the divorce proceedings were mentioned an hour before this video was done. The way he's reacting to it is like the craziest, like most desperate, weird thing for somebody who has literally a $500 mansion. The level of sad desperation that he keeps hitting is thrilling.
Because he keeps, like, every time it's mentioned kind of his situation, he also kind of prefaces it by saying, like, well, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's still, you know.
He is deep in denial. She's like back in Argentina as that video is happening, and he's like, well, we might still be together.
Oh no.
He's talking, like, everything he's talking about is already like loosely tied into like, oh, my wife's really good at this. Like the way he's like, it feels like he has been building this house, which also the thing that makes it especially ridiculous is that house has been getting built for a decade. Like, he started building it in like 2011 or 2010. So for 7 years, he was married with kids that lived with him while this house was being built. So the fact that they got divorced, assuming, honestly, my backstory to that is probably having to do with things like this house. And they got divorced like a couple years before this new relationship, which did not last very long, and is to like some Argentinian singer who, you know, I don't know a ton about.
She's an actress and a singer.
He also says he's a movie producer.
She's very passionate about helping the kids through the arts.
Yeah, there's a lot of so the house is a lot of the arts. He's really trying to promote the arts.
Yeah.
Which is one thing you could call it. And he's also trying to promote sustainability, which he goes into several times, and is maybe the stupidest thing that he talks about.
That is my favorite part of the video.
Yeah. I think that's pretty quick after this. So that's like 6 minutes into the video. They're at that statue, and he talks about my wife. And yeah, Borat. And so what's your take on his sustainability?
my take
Keep in mind, this house is 100,000 square feet or some shit like that.
I think that everyone he has worked with is either paid too much or cares too little to explain to him what sustainability is.
Uh-huh.
Because they're walking through my favorite part of this video. They're walking through the living room, one of the living rooms. There are many, some foyer, whatever, and lined on each wall are like a series of vases of flowers and like monstera leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if it's producer Mike or him who brings up sustainability, but he's like,
oh, it's him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And so he's like, one of the greatest things about this house is that it's saving the world and teaching everyone about sustainability. Take, for example, these flowers, which are plastic. So we don't have to worry about replacing them. And no, he doesn't even say we don't have to worry about replacing them. He says we don't have to worry about them falling on the floor and staining the floor.
Yeah, we don't even have to water them.
Sustainability.
I don't have to pay anybody to water them. It's sustainable this way.
And then he walks into another room and is like, hey, you want to see one of the 7 pools or water features in this house?
Yeah, we got 7 water features. They come to a pool that is like an Olympic-sized pool.
Yeah.
And he's like, producer Michael says something like, oh, wow, that's a really nice pool. And he's like, yeah, it's one of 7 water features.
He says that so many times.
Which he says through dark shades and like a hat pulled tight over his like very balding hair. Because he's got to be mysterious. He's also wearing like a tight black shirt, the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Which is the sign of sadness. That is the dress of a man who has resigned himself to depression eternally. Is a tight black shirt. Did you get to the part where he starts talking about cheeseburgers?
Nope.
Okay, so that becomes a through line. Did you see his Did you see his workout juice bar?
Yes, I did see the juice bar.
Okay, because after that he talks about cheeseburgers, and then it ties into the story in the last part.
Oh. Well. Also the workout room is gigantic, and there's like 10 treadmills or something in it, like in the middle.
It looks like he put the amount of effort into it of like, I'm just gonna have like availability for a spin class for people or something. Like, it's not it is not a workout room. He already has a running track that goes around his house.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'll note his running track doesn't go around the house. It goes halfway around the house, which is not the sign of somebody who actually is planning on using that running track. He also starts running on the running track, and it looks very funny. That is not a man who does running.
I thought it was good.
You used to run, right?
Yeah.
How would you... Yeah, exactly. How would you rate his running that he does in that bit? Because he does a lot of like very like high flops.
High flops is a really good way.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. He's like one step away from the like kicking himself in the ass while he runs like style running.
If he was trying a little bit harder, he would be doing that style of run. Yeah.
Just like the fact that he built a running track at all is kind of rough to watch.
It's like a half running track that goes halfway around the house. Doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, and looking at that dude, I can envision his only workout, especially based on what he has in that house, is him either walking on a treadmill for a while or him with weights sitting on a chair going like, my wife, for like an hour while he like watches cartoons or something. Like that's all I can envision of his actual workout.
Yeah.
Not a happy man's workout, that's for sure.
Well.
Anyway, so he shows him the sustainable things. Did you see the other sustainable thing that has to do with sharks?
No.
All right, so this might be in the second half of the second video. He mentions his virtual shark tank, and he mentions that as being a sustainable option. What he means is... what he means is... yeah, a very, very large area is going to be a constantly on, very long TV screen of a fake Shark Tank. I don't know what he thinks sustainable means, but apparently it doesn't mean anything other than having like less effort put into taking care of the house. Like that seems to be sustainable.
I think that's it.
Yeah. He also is very excited about using snap together TV technology, which is cool and all, but like one of the things that hasn't been figured out, especially wasn't figured out when he was building a lot of this stuff, is how to make all of those pieces work in unison and not burn out individually. So like the chances of a couple years from now, any of that stuff that is installed having like a blank screen seems really high, and that's really going to reduce the look of your whole thing. And the screens that he has in the nightclub and in the outdoor seating, he just has like a giant, like 10 people across screen with like outdoor seating in the middle for like 8 people. And it's like, I can't imagine trying to watch something on that. Like, not only is it outside, the TV's just under an overhang, but like, what are you going to watch that you can be like, it's like sitting in like the third or fourth row of a movie theater at that point.
Yeah.
At like, all times.
Not comfortable at all.
Yeah.
And my favorite TV was the one that like suspends from the ceiling in like a Gladys fashion. And just like swivels around the couch. I thought that was pretty cool.
I think it swivels around a bed.
Nice.
Which is even dumber, because that means... also, yeah, nice. But also, like, his porn TV isn't going to be, like, useful for anything else. Because, like...
Yeah.
And also, it goes into the wall. Which is like, I guess if you want a TV that's a trundle bed, that's fine. But, like, that's not how people use things. Like trundle bed style things that you can, like, pull out. That's usually because you have a space that you need more, like, usable area.
You need to keep it free.
Sleeping. This is a incredibly wide open and partially outside room in which he has a TV that can go into the wall that is, I'm going to say, 60 to 80 inches across, but also can come out of the wall and swivel around in the same pattern that, like, the curtain you would pull around the bed of someone who has died in a hospital goes in.
Yeah.
That is essentially what he has. And I just don't see the point. Like, I house-sitted for some people who had, like, a mansion, and one of the things they had was, say I'm in the master bed, there was a TV here that you could, like, adjust forward and back, but it's here. Now, first off,
yeah,
I guess you're not fucking anymore if you have a TV hanging right over you. I don't know what you're doing, but it ain't sex, because you can't. Like, that's the first thing I think of when I see that, is like, oh, this is a nice sadness TV.
Oh, no.
But aside from that, like, just watch TV somewhere. You don't have to, like, be in bed, like, staring straight at a television.
No, when I'm in bed, I want to feel oppressed by a television presence. Like,
I want to feel like somebody has rolled the top half of my TV into a drawer in which there is also a television. That's what I want. I even have a TV near my bed that I play video games on like a degenerate dork. And I don't have it in a place where I can't see past it because that's horrible. Like, you just don't want that in reality. And in actual sense, not having a TV near where you're sleeping is very freeing. Like, there's plenty of other alternatives for shit you can have around.
What about having 5 TVs in your vicinity of where you're sleeping? How about that?
That does sound like a place that I lived in, and I wouldn't recommend it.
That sounds like the place that he built.
Yep. Anyway, so this guy has made a lot of good decisions. The shark tank is not installed yet, but he makes a big deal out of how that is also sustainable because it doesn't have real sharks in it, which is a very weird version of sustainability. So did you see him show off the his and hers bathrooms?
I saw that in a commentary.
Okay. Did you catch what he had done in the bathrooms?
If I'm understanding it correctly, really hope I'm not, but I think I am.
I think you are.
This guy, because he also mentions as part of the facet of this house that is making everyone's lives better and like bettering people.
Yep.
As they visit. He was on a mission to make guys understand like the plight of women being harassed, and to do that he installed like cameras in the men's bathroom that feed into a screen in the women's bathroom. So that the women may watch them.
So specifically,
did I get that right?
Yeah. So specifically, the feed is pointed at the urinals.
Yeah.
So just here's a feed of these dudes whipping their dicks out in the men's restroom, which, you know, I'm not a woman. I'm not strictly gay. I may not understand, but I'm going to say a guy going to a urinal and pissing is probably not the height of eroticism for most people. But that's being fed into the women's bathroom. Okay, well, maybe it is. I don't know what your facial, your expressions really mean there. The screens are going to be showing that in the women's bathroom, which I might add has no stall doors, which I don't care what bathroom you're using.
I forgot about that.
Have some fucking doors. Like, fuck.
The house is like $500 million has gone into it, and he's decided that a communal bathroom situation is the best way to go.
He does have individual bathrooms for the bedrooms, of which there are like 20 or something. But so that's just a legally strange idea. Like that's a
precarious.
Yeah, that cannot happen, I guess is what I'm saying. But he thinks it should, and my theory is that he wants the bathrooms to show the guys' dicks to the women because of some weird plan that he has involving his wife. That feels like how that's actually set up. Like, in a lot of ways, that mansion is entirely built around like the idea of the male gaze, and I think the place where that's most evident is in the his and hers suites, because the his suite stuff is very regular rich person stuff. Like, it's not even memorable. The hers, though, did you see that shit? Because I think you would have gone past that. So he goes in there, and there's three in the hers bathroom. There are three individual big stalls with half frosted doors, and there's like a toilet, a shower, and a steam room that are all in like the master bathroom of the women's suite.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine, except none of the other things in the bathrooms of the entire house have partially steamed glass. The implication from my perspective being, well, if somebody else is in there, then the steamed glass is classier. Because that's not like a good look, really. Like, it's not helping anything. I don't know why else you would have that as the setup, unless as the builder you were intending that other people would be in that space, and you would want that privacy as like a special thing in that space.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there is a master closet for the women's suite. Did you see that part?
No.
The master closet of the women's suite is a high-end jewelry store. It is literally a hallway into like a jewelry store. And this might be the part where I start having you look at some of the little bits that you didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
In that jewelry store, all around the inside, there are cases for clothing. Like, it is a closet still. But all of the cases, the glass cases for clothing with rose gold interiors, all of them already have clothes in them. And all of them are see-through white nighties. And there's like 50 of them.
Nice.
Why? Those don't belong to anybody.
Hey, you gotta start your sex cult, like, somehow.
Basically.
The white nighties are a great way to start off.
Like, I get the idea of trying to make it look nice, but he skips the part where it's supposed to be somebody else's space, which is sort of the whole point of that. And he has created his like fantasy version of what a hers suite should be for him. Mm-hmm. And it is extremely weird. Let me look at the listings. I can tell you the sections for this, because the other thing that we definitely have to talk about that isn't just his 5 sides of this hot tub are infinity. It isn't just that shit. Towards the end of this whole thing, he goes to the servant quarters, and that might be the most like revealing of the whole thing.
Oh, I'm sure. I regret not having gotten that far.
Let's see. All right. I'm gonna. Cool. Thank you for the ad.
Woo.
All right.
I believe I have some background vacuuming situation happening outside my door.
I can hear it, but I don't think anybody will mind. Okay. So you got to the movie theater, but you didn't get past that? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you saw... So you were close to the end. All right, so I guess that is... you were about 10 minutes from the end, but or less, but the craziest stuff... some of it is past this. So... He shows this weird skinny Trump man his tennis court.
Nice.
Like you do. And then they go to the guest house. The guest house is a place that is the size of a full-sized house, obviously. It has like its own pool. It has a bunch of other shit. But on the way to the guest house, they walk through a little garden. And that garden has olive trees and like lavender. And the olive trees are in little planters that are along the way to the door to the guest house. On the way there, he says, or producer Michael says, like, oh, I like this lavender, and are these olive trees? Niall's response to that is, oh yeah, I invented that. Originally this was just like grass or whatever, and I was like, let's put in a bunch of lavender, and then I invented these round planters. So like,
okay,
that's the level of this dude's discourse through this video. And that's already crazy coming off of them being in the theater. And as they're going to the theater, he's like, I got to show you my girl's music video, which is why he calls himself a director. That's like what he's directed, is that music video. Yeah. That music video is hard to find, and I wouldn't suggest finding it. It does have like a Vimeo version with tits in it, because of course it does.
Okay.
Yeah. It's no tip drill, but it's not good. And it's obviously just like an excuse to have a bad music video that he made of this person that he was married to briefly during COVID. So the best part of the theater is that he keeps talking about, like, I'm going to show you my girl's music video. Happy Mother's Day again. And and they are shooting this. He has like a full-sized theater in his house, and it has a bunch of like reclining couches in it. And you can tell by that point, the camera people and producer Michael are like getting a little bit like uncomfortable with like how much he's talking about this ex, or sorry, his wife. And he's on his phone, and he starts like getting the video up to run. And at first they're shooting, and the screen turns on, doing his like phone mirror on it. And they're like, oh, don't show the screen. It has like his personal phone on. He's like, I don't care. You can show whatever you want. I don't care. And then which is also like, much like earlier when they're like, what's your favorite part of the house? And he says, well, I got a girl coming over tomorrow. Which is already just like, oh boy. First off,
good luck finding her.
Yeah, first off, run. Second off, that's not the best part of the house. That's not a good thing to say there. But this also feels like everything he's doing is like with the assumption that this person is watching this video. Like that is the audience that he has chosen for this video. And he is going to show them the music video, and he keeps talking about it, and then they just focus in on producer Michael like futzing with the chair and being like, I didn't think it would move. And they look at that for like a full minute while he's in the back like, yeah, I'm trying to get this video. And he's like playing with it, being like, oh, it's crazy. And in the way that you only do when you're trying to be like, we can't focus on what he's doing. It's too uncomfortable. Like, we have to think of something else to do. And then he's about to play them the video, and they cut. And they're outside again, walking. Oh. So when he does get to like the video stuff, they have completely cut that section out of that video. And that's one of my favorite cuts in the whole thing, is just like, oh, they got it. Like, they understood that could not happen in this video. Unless there's like a red band version of this video or something. So then they're outside going to the guest house and looking at the tennis court. None of that is super interesting, but the part that is important is after they go to the tennis court, they go to the staff quarters for the end of this. And let's see if I can.
House tour in the history of house tour. All right. Can't thank you enough, Niall, for letting us exclusively tour this amazing The One house.
Well, these are what these guys look like.
Really exciting. Next week, you guys need to
so,
because I'm going to be doing an interview with Niall.
Okay, that's the interview. Did they already do they must have gone through the house. Let me get it.
Did Niall put on a beanie? Or did he have that on?
He had it on the whole time. It just was so consistent that it was like his head.
So this is the staff quarters, 7 bedrooms.
Okay. Can you hear it, by the way?
One of the sizes.
Okay.
This is like the bath, the area, the closet.
So worth noting, there's 7 bedrooms. He says this is one of the sizes. This is a high ceiling motel.
Yep.
Compared to the rest of the house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is incredibly small compared to the rest of the.
Now, listen to what he says about staffing this stuff.
The living room, the kitchen, the laundry, all the bedrooms. You can fit like 4 staff in each room if you wanted to, like, and they can be totally comfortable. Absolutely incredible. It's ginormous.
You could fit 4 staff per room. I want to reiterate, those are hotel rooms. Like, you would have to have 4 people in those rooms in bunk beds in order for that to work. And at that point, you're in a barracks. That is not a like staff quarters that makes sense. That's, I think, the most revealing thing about his non-personal dilemma, like just who he is and his like designing that. The only things that are in that section of the house are all the staff quarters, and then the security, and it has a direct entrance into the garage. Mm-hmm. So it's literally like, this is where we're going to requisition the like not special people. These are the people I hired. They're going to live in like this. Like, imagine, he says that they can fit like 27 people or some shit in there. Like, a lot of people. Which is not good. And imagine what they have, one kitchen together.
Yeah.
And they have like, I assume a bathroom that is like a dual public bathroom style thing, because that's what the house has for people in like a more reduced kind of way. Mm-hmm. At that point, like, that's not a house. Like, that's not an acceptable living space for people to be in. Even if you only had 1 person per room and you let them design that room however they wanted, you're offering them 7 people for a kitchen, which is like a kitchen and living space and a bathroom that they all use together.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
That's insane. Especially after watching everything leading up to that, is very not surprising, really, but just like,
Yeah. And that hallway compared to everything else. So, for example, the hallway leading out of the upper floor of the workout area is completely wallpapered in suede.
Oh, God. Yeah, I forgot. I was going to mention that. This fucking suede wallpaper?
That's so gross. You can see every, like, 6 feet the seam, and then, like, the pattern of the suede on the wall starts again. It looks like they just have a bunch of suede rugs fucking attached to the wall. It is so disgusting.
Yeah, there's no way on earth that this is not, like, a big sex dungeon, because... No. Why else would you have that? Like, if you touch suede, you can see.
Yeah.
So the whole entire house, that whole entire hallway is just going to be covered, I assume, in handprints.
Okay,
which is very haunting, actually.
That's the better thing that you could have said it'll be covered in.
Okay.
But you know, but handprints are still very scary to have through that whole hallway. I still wouldn't love to take a blacklight through that house.
No, God, no.
There isn't an inch of this house that isn't covered in jism. I've finally gotten my dream.
Come back, whatever her name is. Fuck, what is her name? I want to look up her Instagram too.
Actually, yeah, you should do that. I didn't, but I don't remember her name. I don't think he says it. So,
how does he spell? Oh, here it is. Okay.
Niall Miami.
God.
Yeah. And just to be clear, so you saw a tiny bit of that guy walking around. In day-to-day life 3 years ago, rather, he looks like somebody's balding dad. Like, he's chubby, not chubby, but he's kind of a rounder guy. He just looks like a guy you would find at a divorced dad app.
Yeah.
You know?
On a wolf pack.
Mm-hmm.
There's a website called heightzone.com.
Height?
Height. Like height. How high? Your height. And it doesn't even list his height. Wait,
is that
here
like Wiki Feet?
that's kind of what it was looking like, and now it's not.
Okay. Does he have a Wiki Feet? Madison, does he have a Wiki
find
Feet?
out.
Hell yeah.
Wiki Feet.
It may be one of the biggest marks against my character that I know how bad the navigation of Wiki Feet is.
It looks like there aren't any great matches for your search. Or maybe they've just been scrubbed from the internet.
He doesn't want people to see his cool feet. That's too bad.
Yamila Saud. Okay, let's find her. That's the wife.
My wife! Did you catch the part where they're walking around and I think they're outside of one of the nightclubs and he's like, yeah, you know, well, we're getting divorced. My wife, but and she's Argentinian. She doesn't listen to me. That part was like, what?
No, I did not catch that part. But Yamila Saud. Well, okay, I still don't really understand based on these pictures what her deal is, but
well, we know she's a singer of some kind.
Singer of some kind, generally hot lady.
Just a regular hot lady.
Just a regular hot lady. Man, I thought I could scroll back far enough to get a picture of them together, but no.
What'd she look like? I at least want to see what
we're
doing.
Here, let me
see this hot lady that's got this man so sad. There's also another funny thing about this man so sad. But get
let's see. Where's a good one of just her face? Where's her?
That is a very normal looking person.
She looks in this picture like a child.
Yeah, I don't love that. That looks like an actual the sort of Disney child stable.
Yeah, it does.
Like kind of picture. Cool. Ooh. Great.
Thanks.
Woo. That's neat.
Oh, no.
Anyway, that's probably why he has all those see-through white nighties for her to only wear forever. It's gonna...
Good thing he's leveled the playing field with footage of urinals wired directly into the woman's bathroom.
That'll make up for it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe maybe they're gonna try some stuff out, like what was the fucking terrible wording that you said earlier? Breaking your pie cherry or some shit on messygirl.com.
I did not use that terminology.
No, that terminology was on something. You said it. You
virginity. I didn't say popping your pie.
Okay, well, that's just something
I think it's important that everyone knows I did not say that.
What did you not say?
No. We're moving on.
Okay, so now to the real, exciting part of this.
Yes.
They have an interview. They just sit down. They talk about some shit. I think you might actually want to just watch.
Okay. Let me pull.
Because this interview, and this actually is a good opportunity, as long as people can at least make out some of it. The things that he says in this interview are the craziest things I've ever heard. Like, it starts off and it's like, oh yeah, this is a pretty sad man. He has some bad ideas. And then what he says and the context to what he says is like, oh no.
Okay. I'm pulling it up. Are there...
Just jump ahead to when they're sitting down. It doesn't really matter. None of it's not crazy.
Okay. Here we go. Oh.
And this is just him and producer Michael sitting across from each other.
I'm already just like put off by the stance of both of these men. They're like,
yeah, they are. They're down to business. That's for sure.
Okay, well.
For this house, the plan checker made a mistake and approved it for larger.
Oh, I forgot that I forgot that I had turned the playback speed up, like, was super high.
That's honestly, that'll save you a lot of trouble.
Then they changed all the rules, making it absolutely impossible.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the fact that he thinks that this place is going to be like saving people from mental health problems because they can be in a spaced out, like socially distanced
They can
place.
be in a space that is what I would call the house equivalent of mental health problems.
Yeah.
Also, so what he said in that line there, oh shit, I lost my train of thought. He is talking about the house and how it's gonna like solve a lot of people's problems. Let it play a little bit more.
Really, the one is fitting for this, and the house is called The One Bel Air, and my show is called The One. And between those two, I think that we have the ability to really change the world in a very positive way.
He is going to change the world.
When you say change the world in a positive way, how does this...
I love that Mike asks him this question many times because his answers never make sense. And I love that he keeps asking him over and over, like, yeah, but how? Yeah, but how?
Oh, the thing is, when he starts telling him how, it's worse.
It's so much worse.
I will explain. So
I will explain.
All of the venues around the world have been either shut down or dramatically altered. There's nowhere in the world really where you can go for a venue like you used to have. Like
nowhere.
Big boxing match.
You can't just see anything. It's COVID.
The Grammys or
anything. Can't go to the Grammys.
While he's explaining this, I'll let people know. You can just let it play. He's not to the real juicy stuff yet. So while he's explaining that he's going to like offer a space for people to use during COVID, what he's also explaining should be that he has garnered like a third, I think, of all of LA's house party regulation breaking up to that point.
Sick.
Like a full third is that house of the regulations getting broken in the area.
Weird.
Which probably makes it a lot easier to maintain your weird COVID wife if you're the only place where any party can happen.
Yeah.
Right in the grass with the world championship boxers.
Mm-hmm. Why are they constantly like, we could put a boxing match in this bitch? Like, both of them.
So his idea for boxing match stuff is that there was a Manny Pacquiao fight that brought in like a bunch of money. So he's going to do boxing matches and bring in a bunch of money.
For charity or not for charity?
But it's literally on a yard. Like, it's a big yard, but that's not where you have boxing matches.
You should have just like go for like the Guinness World Record of most simultaneous matches of cornhole at once. That'd be pretty good.
I've already seen that.
I know. He's still talking about boxing. All right, move on.
Yeah, you can tap ahead a little bit. He gets more and more crazy.
3-page contract. I'm going to put all of the responsibility on
So pause there for a second. So at that part, he's telling him, hey, I'm going to, and he's saying, I'm going to be able to tell which people are good. I'm going to be able to tell which people have good intentions and are good people. And I'm not going to give them a loan. Like, I am going to give them a loan, but it's not going to be through a bank. I'm going to give them a 3-page contract, and they're just going to answer to me. And then I'm going to take like half of that profit, and we're going to share these ideas, but I'm going to help people that way. He'll keep talking about that. But that's crazy already.
It doesn't sound great.
That exact day, without lawyers, I'm going to write how much I own of their company, and I'm going to write them a check.
Without lawyers.
I will only be able to do it with paper.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Comes to us, and with that, the whole entire world will change. And I really believe that
sustainable.
House. Let me just interrupt you for a second. So it is also my understanding, based on our previous conversations, and I just want to be very candid with everyone. You also are inviting people to jump on board with this opportunity. Is that correct?
Yes.
An investment opportunity. Ooh.
I will say something to you. We have our analysts looking into our numbers. And
They're
based
looking
on
into
the
the numbers.
The previous pay-per-view events, after 3 events in this house, the valuation of this company, not the house, this company, will be $3 to $6.5 billion. That's bigger than Twitter. Mm-hmm. It is a gigantic.
This is the epitome of the step 1, build $500 million house. Step 2, profit.
Yep. Step, the middle. Like my wife.
Buy Twitter the first day it comes out. That's what we're talking about here. And
so just so everybody's clear, what you're saying is you are going to say.
Yeah. So everybody's clear.
So
that people can invest in.
Yes.
And they can share in the profits and participate in all of these events.
Yes.
Et cetera,
and let me say something. I want to say it.
And I want to say something before you do.
Okay.
The reason I think this is very credible is
I think this is very credible.
Something that I don't think anybody could ever pull off. You built this house, which is, I think, the most expensive house in definitely in America, but if not in the world. Certainly the largest house in the urban world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was impossible to do, and you've pulled some miracles off.
Yeah.
So I honestly believe that you can also do.
I love.
Yeah.
I love that he's turned the this into like a COVID solution because, like you said, he's been building this house for like 10 years.
Yep.
But suddenly, that's the that's why we made it.
So
for that.
If you pop ahead a tiny bit again, it's only going to get crazier. Like, that's the thing, is it starts off with this, like, here's my idea of what we're going to do with the house to make money. And it's a show, and it's having, like, events there. And producer Michael asks him, well, can I get tickets to one of the events? And he's like, well, I mean, it's going to be $3,500 for a seat.
You mean hologram?
Yep.
We have the latest technology where you have someone standing there that looks like a person, but it's a hologram that's created on a stage in 2.5 seconds with all the cameras taking a picture of you at the same time. But we're also going to do things like the new technology of televisions that snap together. We're going to create virtual Shark Tanks where we talk about how we don't need to take...
The cocaine energy is just so...
It is strong. That dude is railing off that cocaine.
Crazy events. And
crazy events are going to be the hologram.
You're gonna fucking love these events. Like, I'm glad you can't see my eyes because they're fucked up.
Entire house, and we are going to do a modern day remix of "We Are the World." And I'm going to have.
Yep.
Okay, no, I can't.
Yeah. Like, He is losing his goddamn mind on camera.
We're gonna do modern day remix of Weird.
He's gonna start bringing his ex-wife into this. He's gonna start bringing some other aspects into this.
In the history, singing on each podium, but I'm also gonna have people like Jamila Sowden, my current wife, for getting into voice.
Listen to who else though?
Singers in the world, but you know who else is going to be singing next to them? Houston and Michael Jackson and Prince and Elvis Presley, because every single one of these singers are going to be holograms. And I'm going to because
oh fuck.
Everybody else.
I'm really glad we can experience this in real time
I'm so excited.
together.
I have to tell you, it's only the start. I have with this show and with this event platform and with the pay-per-view and with
this man needs help so much.
He actually needs help.
Helping everybody that I possibly can in the world. Not only is it going to give people hope, but it's going to give the world events the way that they remember events, but better.
That's a good question. So earlier we mentioned
We're gonna do it like it was before, but better. And Whitney Houston will be there. Also Michael Jackson.
I sell a certain amount of shares in the LLC, not the underlying real rights of the house, but in this new event space
LLC.
And I will tell you that it is going to be so much money based on what other pay-per-view events have done, that even if my 3 boxing events make $80 to $100 million in total, which is absolutely, it's impossible that it wouldn't, when the small...
It's impossible that it wouldn't.
Pause it for just a second.
Yeah.
How much money do you think he owes the bank on this house?
Oh, God.
$80 to $1 million. Or $80 to $100 million. The exact amount he's saying that it has to make that amount of money. It couldn't not. He is like talking to the bank in this video. Like, please don't take my house. But listen to a little more of this, because that gets a little deeper.
Oh, God.
Events that make $200, $300, $400 million. Valuation of the company would be $3 to $6 billion after only the 3 events. And with that, it's going to let me expand my vision through everything that I want to do, and there is so much. But I want to say one other thing. I have so much to say, but let me just say one other thing. I am going to buy this plane that I call the God plane, and it is a plane. And I'll tell you why. Because I have a lot of friends who are billionaires. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of friends who have more money than they know what to do with. And you understand, if you have $1 billion, how much money you're making a year if it's at 5%? What if you have $2 billion? What if you have $3 billion?
Where's this going?
Well, I have a friend who has
listen to this story.
And when I was in my house looking up at the sky, saying I didn't have enough money to buy a cheeseburger, he wouldn't help me. And
this guy's about to cry.
Never going to happen to anybody that I see that I trust that's a good person. That will never happen. It's ostentatious and it's crazy, but you know what? All of my friends fly alone. My plane will never, ever, ever fly alone, because my plane has lounges and it has living rooms and it has bedrooms. And I am going to, through a lotto system or through my own eye, pick different people to come on that plane only one way. But it's going to give them the ability to be on a plane like that and dream bigger
only
than they...
one way?
And I guarantee...
Does he think that he's Jesus?
Yeah.
Cool. Next.
Time that plane flies, someone will have a new investment in their company from me. And those are the kind of things my plane will never fly alone.
You need to make sure you get the tail number, Oscar November Echo 1.
Okay, we'll work on that. You know
there
what?
You go.
You're going to be with me on your channel when I get this plane. It's ready in 2023. I'm going to have the logos put on each of the heads. we're gonna get...
That guy was really excited about the fact that he knew the words for spelling that out. I can't remember what that's actually called.
Be on the first flight.
You will be on many flights, my friend.
That's exciting. That's exciting. So
exciting.
What we can do is
That's exciting.
we can put, I guess, an email address to
Yes,
contact
I'll
you.
get it to you.
Do I need to fast forward through this? There's only...
Interested, and then...
You can fast forward a tiny bit if you want.
But again, thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
I think he says one more thing here.
I have two terrific boys, Bryce and Brent. And Brent is not...
Sorry, Bryce and Brent.
I'm so sorry.
Really what to do in their life, and they're like a lot of other teams.
Also, Bryce and Brent?
No, that's too bad.
Oh, God.
One thing that we're going to do, they are unbelievable artists. I already told them to start doing the best art you can, your sculptures, your paintings, whatever it is.
Do the best art that you can.
Along $5, $10, $20 million pieces. And with that, we're going to open an art gallery for teens down the street, and you'll be able to go and help realize they're not just my two kids. Whatever teams are great artists, there's so many things that can do. There's so brilliant. So many things. That's amazing.
Why? Oh, God.
All right, we've gotten a lot of the flavor. One other thing that he talks about is they're just up the hill from UCLA, and he knows that UCLA doesn't use their parking lot at night, so they're gonna use UCLA's parking lot, and people aren't even gonna know that all these people are up here. They're gonna give back to the community, and it's gonna be totally like sustainable. They're not even gonna clog stuff up because they're just gonna be in UCLA's parking lot.
Yeah. Nice.
He has had constant complaints from that neighborhood. And that's also how he has racked up so many police complaints during COVID. Mm-hmm. You can read online rich assholes that live near him talking about all the things that have been done to them by the people going to that house during COVID. It's all garbage. It's all like, they looked at me funny. But it's also just like, you can't. They're not going to let you do that shit. So, Madison, right now, I just want to let you know that you're going to be on the first flight of my God plane.
Every time someone goes up in that plane, an investment is being made.
And I just, I'm really glad that you told me that you're going to have a art gallery out there that all the talented people for, and I'm glad that I'm going to get to sign your 3-page contract and you're going to decide how much of my company you own.
Yeah.
We're going to change the world with sustainability.
Sounds so good.
Anyway,
but only if I can watch people piss from the other bathroom.
God, finally. You know what? There's just one really specific sexual thing that I need to have, and it's just watching people casually, non-sexily piss into a urinal. And I want it to be broadcast to me while I'm trying to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And definitely isn't going to just be somebody's ex looking into a screen of Niall at a urinal like, can you see my dick enough? Like, it's definitely not going to be that.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So I suggest everybody watch that.
Yes, I think it's very much worth.
That interview is fucking crazy, especially with the knowledge of what happened before that, of like them walking around this giant house, seeing how like for reference, it's not just the suede walls, and it's not just the fucking like terrible like bathrooms. He has so much weird shit in there. He has like he has a 3-chair hair salon, like a place that would have to be staffed in order for it to exist. Outside the theater, he has a giant candy room that is the size of like a mall candy store. He has that running track. He has a giant unfinished tennis court. He has 7 water features, whatever the fuck. He has a lot of shit that is completely useless to almost everybody who would ever be near that stuff. The only thing that house could possibly do is be like housing for people in large volume for like extended but temporary periods of time. Like that's the only thing it could be. Either that or a mall. It looks like a mall.
It's about as homey as a mall.
Yeah, it's like my interest in being there is about mall level. But like all of that stuff alone is kind of crazy. But once you see the art that he has, like that's really one of the reasons to watch. He has one of his own pieces that they start walking down a flight of stairs and there's this like glass giraffe at the end of the stairs. And he's like, this is my art. And then he explains it took 3 men a year to make this, which is like, so this is your art in the same way that you built this house. I see. And then he keeps talking about all the unique light fixtures that he got commissioned, which is also just like, great. Like, I'm glad that you're making it sustainable by having bespoke lights everywhere. They don't show this place at night, but it has to have like a small city's worth of lighting because it is meant to be somewhat minimalist, and minimalism looks terrible without lighting. So you know it's just fucked with lights. But it's okay because all the plants are fake. Anyway.
Sustainability.
And the virtual Shark Tank will be good for the environment because I won't have real sharks. So when he's in, he has something he says, and I picked up a lot of this garbage because I was watching it several times. In his like testimonial / like here's what my plans are interview, he talks about like he had a friend who's worth $3 billion, and when he was in his house referencing the $500 million house, he didn't have enough money for a cheeseburger, and that billionaire friend of mine wouldn't give me money for a cheeseburger. First off, I don't know what he's talking about. That doesn't sound like somebody he's friends with. But also, like, the idea of fixating on cheeseburgers starts when he's in his workout room, and he's, like, talking to, I think, the cameraman about, like, yeah, like, I'm going to be down here in the workout room all the time, and I'm going to be getting more ripped, looking younger all the time, still eating a cheeseburger, and you're going to be jealous. Like, that's what he's talking about. He's, like, weirdly fixated on this idea of, like, I'm still going to be able to eat a cheeseburger, which is also just, like, what a sad life that you have to go, like, can I eat a cheeseburger?
His brag over people is that he can eat a cheeseburger without feeling some sort of life-ending guilt over it, I guess.
I guess. But yeah. Sad man. Hilarious video. I hope he gets all those slaves he wants so he can run that house. Oh, wait. Another thing he mentions in that last interview is that they're already defaulting on the house.
Sick.
And he has Chapter 11 bankruptcy on another house. So, like, he doesn't live in that house, and he never will.
It's pretty awesome. I like how throughout the whole thing, he will occasionally mention, like, actual charities or, like, actual good works that he wants to be a part of, but just totally, like, misses the part of the story where you could have just took your $500 million and, like, done that thing instead all of the way.
Even the fact he borrowed, like, $80-some million from the bank, that means he had $400+ million to start with. He could have done anything else.
Yeah.
But now he's losing 2 of his 4 or 5 houses because he decided, yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't matter. He's still incredibly rich, but like, he's losing those houses to the bank because he can't pay them back the money he borrowed. So
maybe he needs to go up in someone's god plane.
I think we all do. I've just heard news that there's a god plane that's going to be falling out of the sky any day now, and they're not sure where it's going to hit, so you probably won't get hit by the god plane, but you might.
But there's not a 0% chance.
There's not a 0% chance. It's actually, like, not incredibly unlikely. Who knows?
God planes falling out of the sky.
I'm glad governments are essentially unintentionally now just firing bullets into the air and letting it land wherever it lands. That's really helpful. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to get up and get some coffee so I can read this Ted Cruz story.
Good. And
I'm going to try and practice my Ted Cruz while I'm up. But maybe you should practice your Ted Cruz while I'm up, too.
No. What does Ted Cruz even sound like? I'm imagining.
I can't wait to be Ted Cruz.
Oh, what is a good?
It's not weird that it looks like my wife.
I found it slightly difficult to practice with all this going on.
I got you.
But it was very good from what I heard from your end.
Oh, it sounded like Ted Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz. I think you're ready.
What does Ted Cruz sound like when he has sex? Like
you know turtle. That video of the turtle having sex with the boot?
Yeah. Yeah, that's Ted Cruz for sure. Okay. Highly sexual. Isn't that how everybody does that? All right, I've got a list started up of just these stories. The last one that we read last week, if you want to go back and hear it, is called The Goods. It stars Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., not my president. This one is called Cruz Goods.
Hey.
Yes, were you going to say something?
Nope, I'm great.
You want to... You can just look at that picture I sent you if you want to get in the mood. I don't know anything about this story, but I've heard that it might have something to do with parasites, so I'm a little worried about it. Okay. I guess we'll find out.
I'm ready.
Also, I have a third light pointed at me because the lighting has changed considerably in this room. And I feel just ever so slightly woozy, probably because of the Dayquil. So if I pass out for a second and just knock the whole computer over, that's why. It shouldn't be a problem. So Natalie and Kurt also did this story. I think we will be getting some bespoke stories from them in the future as well. I'm very excited.
Thank God.
The plugs that they note, Natalie plugs the Red Menace podcast. I haven't heard that, but I'll check that out. Kurt is here to plug. You've heard it too. Mm-hmm. Kurt is here to plug Mitch McConnell's ever-growing waddle.
Yep.
I hope nobody's plugging it, but you know,
somebody's plugging it.
I have been told Do you like that? I've been told that I am to read the italics in a creepy bug voice. I don't know how that's different than Ted Cruz, but I'll see. This might have some context to the question I was asked the other day about Devora from Mortal Kombat. All right. Let's see. My voice is a little bit weird this week. That should be fine, though.
I think it'll add to the experience.
Okay. I should have gotten another beer.
Why? Are you having a hard time getting into the headspace?
I'm having a fun time getting into that headspace. Oh, okay.
Demonetized.
That's juice. This is what alcohol looks like. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Ted Cruz, 3-time high school debate club champion, missed the days when he had control over his own body, when he could speak his own words, when he wasn't trapped in this decaying oubliette, but those days were long gone. Ted Cruz had been camping in Canada about 25 years ago. He was having a little swim after a hike when something... Wait, that's capitals, not italics. When something had swam up his dick. When he went to the doctor, they didn't find anything. The medical staff and Ted Cruz's family all thought he was being paranoid about his penis again.
Damn it, Ted.
A regal metamorphosis. But this was different than all the times he worried it seemed smaller and baggier. There really was something inside his body by way of his wing-wang. And over the years, it had worked its way into his torso and then began growing. Ted Cruz got all kinds of x-rays and scans, but doctors were never able to find anything. They know nothing. Ted Cruz thought maybe he was paranoid and delusional like the doctors and his disappointed wife suggested. He decided not to tell anyone when he began hearing a melodic cricket chirping that soothed him to sleep. He wrote it off as a hallucination when a pair of segmented chitinous tendrils emerged from the inside of his nostrils, only to slip back through his face the way they came. Over the next decade, Ted Cruz slowly felt the control of his body shift over to the massive insect that was now piloting his body. Are we going to get into ovipositor territory? Because I feel that like that's a throwback at this point. Ted Cruz was kind of an asshole before the insect swarm swam up his dick all those years ago, but he was a regular asshole. He was nice to his wife, but took her for granted and forgot to fuck her most months. That's just a statement, I guess.
Most months. Yeah.
Most months. Didn't stop him from watching that porn, though. Don't put your tabs online. That goes to Alex Jones, too, when he had sexual porn tabs open on his phone. Yet he seems to be okay with them getting murdered. Anyway, this is about the story. He was cordial to his neighbors. Don't get
distracted from the important matters at hand.
He was cordial to his neighbors, but secretly hated them for being vegans. He hardly ever fell asleep in church, but it wasn't really his fault that Jesus was so boring. A new divinity rises. Ted Cruz was... Wait. That's the bug part. A new divinity rises! Ted Cruz was well aware that he was a mediocre and sort of annoying person at best before. But the Thing. Oh, that's what it says.
The Thing.
That guy was a fucking psychopath. Since the invader, Lover, was in control of every aspect of Ted Cruz's body, it got to decide Ted Cruz's career. Before this, he wanted to be an insurance salesman, so that he could be kind of a dick, but a regular kind of a dick. But his lover wanted to feel powerful. It wanted Ted Cruz to be a household name. It wanted to wield a sickening amount of power over the stupid humans. We must become more and more! That didn't even know it was inside Ted Cruz all along. Power to rule. There was only one appropriate starting place for that kind of cruel jackass: Texas Senator. Ted Cruz was helpless while the insects used Ted Cruz's own mouth to spout political absurdities. It didn't matter how inhuman my cherished one's opinions were, or how poorly the media and the public reacted to it. Enough people believed and trusted the insect that they had always voted it into office. Ted Cruz had no idea how anyone bought the burgeoning deity's lies and bullshit rhetoric, but they did, and it became an incredibly notorious politician. We said insane things in Ted Cruz's voice. The other day, I spoke to a small business owner. She told me that if it weren't for all her fears of Antifa and the cancel crazy left, she would treat her employees like real humans. But she thinks Dr. Seuss and woke warriors that would have her investments ruined by a minimum wage, robbing her blind. It makes me ask what would be good folks of Springfield think. What? I know they would say no to any socialist handout. They'd rather take 3 extra jobs than see this country fail.
Yep.
I'm Ted Cruz. And recently, it wanted a beard to make us whole. Ted Cruz's face had never produced enough facial hair to constitute a beard. So he had always kept himself clean-shaven. But now that the My Beloved was bent on reinventing its host look, it stopped shaving and was ultimately disappointed by the outcome. Ted Cruz watched helplessly as the insect came up with a plan. It needed more beard. We accumulate forever. We will have it all. At first, the insect would rob graves for beards. Its long, whip-like appendages would come out of Ted Cruz's nose, harvest the dead man's beard, one hair at a time, and plug each hair into a follicle. But 1 or 2 grave beards later, the insect would watch in disappointment as the dead hairs fell out of Ted Cruz's weird, fleshy face. The beards, the insect decided, needed to be fresher. It must live in us, as will they all. It's really hard to make a bug voice and a Ted Cruz voice different.
I think you're doing a great job, though. That sounded more sarcastic than I wanted it to.
You were uninvited from my God plane. Ted Cruz had been a small-time asshole in his previous life, and he was one of the biggest pricks in politics now. But in his most holy love's insatiable lust for fresh beards, Ted Cruz became a serial killer. As the bodies piled up, so too did Ted Cruz's beards. The insect didn't have very good taste when it came to Ted Cruz's appearance, so the stacks on stacks of beards looked insane. It made his already droopy face look like it was sliding off his skull. Everyone on social media was making fun of him, but his cherished didn't care. It had what it wanted. The full human male experience of having luscious beards. All will be taken. All will be ours. In time, as Ted Cruz's sadism bloomed to inconceivable levels, their lust for power and their need for accolades grew. They no longer could tell where each other stopped and began. They began feeling as one. Oh, they began feeling as though this was all meant to be. The cruelty, the ravenous need to have and be and consume all. The beards. Oh yes, the beards. Ted Cruz realized over time that this was what they wanted. To live in power and glory together. Forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. God damn it. God damn it.
Well, now we know the story of Ted Cruz's stacks on stacks of beards.
That was a ride.
What do you think about Ted Cruz's beard?
The vivid imagery of plugging dead beard hairs into the follicles was really something.
I will say, not as sexual as I would have wanted, but still obscene in its own right.
Very obscene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think they really captured the spirit of Ted Cruz though with that one, and I think the Joe Biden one did the same appropriately.
Yeah, I don't even know who the next story will be about. I'm hoping. Oh, did you have a request?
I might have a request. I'll get back to you on that. I have a rotating cast of requests in my head, but excellent. I'll settle on one. It's important.
Well,
do we get the right one?
The only other thing I really had planned out was mentioning people's weird ass problems with critical race theory, but I don't know that goes at the end of an episode.
Why not?
I will say, as preface, critical theory being from the 30s is really just about holding governments accountable for how they treat people, and critical race theory is basically the exact same thing, but it started in like the early 90s and late 80s. So like, I think, yeah, late 80s. I'll probably talk about that some more in a future podcast, but there was some weird like Republican shit and then some blowback on the idea of critical theory / critical race theory that they seem to be rolling into their new scare words for like why we shouldn't trust progressives. So basically it all boils down to people don't want to look at racial tension in the country, and they think it's actually racist to look at it. So
yeah. Well,
it's about what you would expect.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh well. Seems about right. Well, I think we're coming up on the end of the podcast. Did you have anything else you wanted to mention about Ted Cruz's beard or otherwise?
Nope. Perfect. I'm just gonna leave everyone with the images from that very vivid description in their heads.
Yeah, it does explain some of why Ted Cruz's skin looks the way it looks. And hey, if people want to have nightmares, go look up the video of him doing that speech with the fucking shit on his lips.
No. Oh, God.
It made me feel so sick. That's like 2 Girls 1 Cup level of just like, I can't watch this though. It's really bad.
Yeah, that one's life ruining, day ruining. Yeah,
I wish I'd never seen it. I'm sorry to everybody who has seen it, and I want everybody who hasn't to see it so they live in this misery.
So that's everyone's homework for the week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, come back next week for what will probably be more horrible stories about horrible people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Yeah. Be gone, thoughts, especially the mothers.
Yeah, McClunky and Bajappers.